this video, let's set up all of your account metadata. Now, just like metadata works with your files from your camera, where you have all of your aperture and your shutter speed and your keywords and your copyright and all of those other information that you can have kind of stored into a RAW file or a JPEG file. The metadata that you set up in your Sprout account helps you use Sprout to the best of your abilities, and it helps you keep things organized, and it helps kind of fuel everything else that you use in Sprout. So the different kinds of metadata that we're going to go through in this video are metadata like the lead sources, which is how do your leads find you? What are the sort of referral sources or the ways that somebody finds you? The shoot types, what kinds of photography do you offer? Reasons for closing. So when someone lets you know, a lead, when they say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and move ahead with a different photographer, what are the different reasons that you want to be categorizing in Sprout as to why somebody didn't book you? And there's a few other different kinds of metadata that we're going to go through and set up here in this lesson. So I have Sprout Studio pulled up, and to get into the metadata section, we're going to click Settings in the bottom left corner, and then we're going to click Account and then Metadata. And these here are the different kinds of metadata that you can set up. Now, they're all pretty much set up the same way. If I open up shoot types, for example, it opens up a list of a few different things. There's a new button here, and of course I can click here to edit it, merge, or to delete it. So they all pretty much move and work the same. I can just drag and drop to rearrange them. I can sort them alphabetically, and they all pretty much, again, work the same way here. If I open up this, works the exact same. So we're gonna run through and set a few of these up. Let's start with shoot types. So by default, I have wedding, family, and boudoir here. Now I'm seeing that because I chose those in the Startup Wizard. So those were already pulled over from Startup Wizard. If I click edit on here, there's a couple things that we're going to kind of take a look at. First of all, obviously you can choose color, so you can set Spread Out to look as pretty or to sort of follow your own color paradigm. We've got these really pretty colors that we've chosen here for you already, or you can just click over here and add in your own hex value. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is the on contact form up here. By default, shoot types will show up on contact forms. However, if you don't want something to be available, a shoot type to be available on a contact form, then you can toggle that off so it'll never show up on a contact form. Now we do that because there might be some shoot types that you don't necessarily want to be showing on a contact form. Maybe you want to classify your shoots as different tiers, or you want to have one that's called luxury or something like that. And if you want to do that, then we don't necessarily want to force that to always be on the contact form. So you have the option and the choice here to turn that on or to turn that off on the contact form. So go ahead and click update there. Now to add a new one, we're just going to click add new here. Let's call this bridal portrait, and let's go ahead and choose a color, and then we're going to go ahead and add that. So that's really how easy it is to add a new shoot type. So you're welcome to go through and set that up and to add the different shoot types that you offer as a photographer. I'm just going to sort these alphabetically here, and then we're going to go ahead down and save. Let's go down into lead sources. Now, by default, all of these are added to your account. So you'll see something very similar when you hop into your account here. But to add a new different kind of lead source, go ahead again and click new lead source. And we're going to add a new one here. And we're going to call this, let's see here, we're going to call this Twitter. And we're going to just, again, choose a color. And then we're going to go ahead and click new. And again, you saw there that there is a contact form, on contact form, yes or no. By default, it's turned off for lead sources. And that's because by default, your client can just type in their lead source. They don't have to choose from a dropdown. However, if you want to make it available on a dropdown, then you can go ahead and just choose on like that. And you might want to just do it for a few of them, but you can do it like that. And that way your clients can choose that in the contact form. We're going to go ahead and close out of that for lead sources. And let's go down here into reasons for closing. And again, same as how we've done for the other ones, these are pre-added into your Sprout account. You're welcome to obviously click here and to delete them. They haven't been used yet if you're just using your account. If they've been used, then you will not be able to delete it. You will have to merge it with another one. And that way Sprout can go ahead and reassign all those leads or all those shoots to use the other piece as opposed to just not having anything at all. So the different ones that we have here in terms of why someone didn't book you as a photographer, maybe it was just a bad match. Maybe they just chose somebody else. They just never replied, so they kind of ghosted you. Maybe you were too expensive, or maybe you were just not available. Again, to add a new one, you just click new reason for closing, put it in there, and you're good to go. So that is the lead reason for closing. Let's go down now here into lead statuses. And so again, these have all been created for you. My recommendation as an educator and someone that coaches thousands of photographers around the world is to build these to follow the customer journey that your client goes through. So the first thing that they have, or the first sort of like part of the customer journey that a lead would go through. Now, again, there's lead statuses. And if I just minimize this and go here, there's shoot statuses. So there's two different things. One is statuses for leads. One is statuses for shoots. So if I open this back up over here, again, we've got new. So this is a new lead. Their status is new. And then as soon as you reply to them, you're then awaiting reply. So now you've sent them an email. You're now awaiting reply. Once they get back to you, you're now what's called in communication. And then once you've gone back and forth and they're ready to book you, they are now booking. Maybe there's at one point in the customer journey that they're just kind of saying, yeah, we'll get back in touch in a few months. Then you can put them on hold. And then of course there's closed. So if they've said, you know what, I'm just not ready to move ahead, I've chose somebody else, then you can go ahead and close them as opposed to deleting them. And that way you can track that metadata through your reports. Let's go ahead and add a new one though. Let's add one between in communication and booking. And the reason that I want to add a new status there is for maybe after you've done a meet and greet with somebody, or you've done a consultation or a sales session, that's sort of after you've been in communication with them, but before they're ready to book you. So let's go ahead and do new lead status, and we're going to call this meet and greet scheduled. And we're going to kind of choose a nice green color because it's hopeful and positive. And we're going to click that, and we're going to drag this up in between those two. And then I'm going to go meet and greet finished. And we're going to kind of have that one be a bit of a yellow because it's kind of like, ooh, we're not sure what's happening here. So we'll kind of put it on hold there. So there we go. So that's kind of how we have our lead statuses organized here. And again, my recommendation for here is to follow that customer journey, whatever that customer journey looks like for you and in your business. Design these lead statuses to follow that process, to follow that workflow, and then have them organized in that order as well. Let's go ahead and click close there. Shoot statuses, again, very similar. We've got booked, pre-shoot, post-shoot, archived, and canceled. I'm going to go ahead and click close there. Let's go into contact fields here. So these are custom contact fields that you can create for your contacts. So by default, of course, in Sprout, you can have things like phone number and email address and username and pronouns and company and first and last name. But if you want to record any other information about contacts, then you can just add a new contact field. So maybe anniversary, for example, or birthday or number of children. You can add those in here and it shows up in the client modal for you to edit. Close there. Contact roles. These are all contact roles. So basically, when you add multiple contacts into a lead or into a shoot, what kinds of roles might you want to associate with them? So you could have, hey, this is a client, this is a friend, this is a spouse, or this is a vendor. Maybe you want to have one that's called this is a parent. Maybe you want to have one that's called this is the children. So you can record the children name of your families, for example. But you can customize this and add however you want to organize things or make sense of your Sprout account. You're welcome to add those all in here. And the only one that I skipped up here was the lead shoot roles. This is more for you as the photographer in the back end. If you are a studio that runs a multi-photographer studio, or you have more than just one person, yourself, in your business, you can have different job roles associated with the users as you attach them to leads or to shoots. So maybe you have photographer, second photographer, studio manager, assistant. Maybe you want to add videographer. And that way, as you add people to your jobs and to your shoots and to your leads, they're all automatically organized by different job roles here. And so that is how you set up all of your metadata here in Sprout Studio.